I guess I'll go ahead and get started reading the instructions, and then I'll pass it over to Derek to be our meeting chair, if that sounds good to everybody. Okay. Good morning.
Hey, Derek, this is Porter. Hang on, sorry, Maureen, but Derek, just FYI, Maureen has the roll call, so she can do roll call for you if you can kind of just lead the meeting gently.
Did you send me an agenda or anything that I promptly ignored? Just asking for a friend.
We can let's let Maureen start the meeting, and I can give you some insight.
Okay.
Sorry, Maureen, go ahead.
Oh, you guys are good. Good morning. My name is Maureen Brady, and I'll be facilitating the Zoom video portion of the meeting today. The meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the city's YouTube channel and public access cable channel 25. During the meeting, please mute yourself by clicking on the microphone icon found on the lower left-hand side of the Zoom menu next to the video icon. When you are muted, a red line will appear over the icon. This will make it easier for everyone to hear during the meeting. You'll just have to remember to unmute if and when you want to speak. To ensure that the meeting runs smoothly, I may mute people as needed to reduce background noises. In the menu, you can also turn your camera on or off by clicking the video icon. For the purposes of this public meeting, during the time you are active in the meeting, please keep your video on. If you are not actively participating in the meeting, it is okay to turn your video off and listen until it's your time to present or speak. If you are participating by phone, you can click *6 to unmute your phone. Somewhere on your Zoom screen, you will also see a choice to toggle between speaker and gallery view. Speaker view shows the active speaker. Gallery view tiles all of the meeting participants. And now I'll turn the meeting back over to Derek, our chair, to guide us through.
All right, thanks. So let's see, we would need to start. Yeah, Porter,
So yeah, I can help you here. So Maureen has the roll. Let's go ahead and do a roll call to see who's in the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Derek Felch.
I am here.
Mary Doveton.
Here.
Heather Shull.
I'm here.
Tim Metz. Okay. Heidi Champagne. Okay. Sue Shea.
Here.
And then Stephen Horton, he told us he'd be absent, so that's it.
Great.
Okay.
And so what I sent to you all, this is Porter Arneal. I sent you guys, so at our last meeting, we discussed all the circumstances and determined that the best thing to do was to recraft the existing guidelines for the 2021 grant program, which I have done. I sent you guys copies with all of my edits included so you could see what changes and additions I made. Basically, in summary, what I did was added a preface explaining the circumstances right up front in its own window so people would understand that while the grants will be awarded, there is a possibility that the grants could be reduced and even possibly canceled for the year. That just possibilities. The hope is that that is not what happens. The city is monitoring and doing its best to forecast, but clearly TGT revenues are down. So you have the guidelines to review, and then I changed also the requirement for an off year after 4 years. I basically put that on pause for this year, so nobody is restricted from applying to the TGT grant program. And then I added a few things in the application, which includes, say, if you're choosing a virtual event, that type of thing. So no major changes, just really adapting according to our very unusual circumstances related to the pandemic going into 2021. So what I'm looking for today is review of that, any changes that you want to make, and hopefully approval of these guidelines so we can actually start the grant program. It would actually begin next week.
Excuse me, this is Maureen Brady again. I believe I just let Heidi into the meeting, and Heidi, if you're there, can you confirm that? No?
Sometimes it takes a minute.
Okay.
Porter.
We can check on her later then.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Derek. So now we would want some feedback from the rest of the group, what you thought. If I'm understanding the agenda correctly, we want to look at what we thought of the proposed changes that you've made and adopting those as the guidelines moving forward for this year.
This is Porter Arneal. That is correct. And I also just realized the first thing you need to do is approve the minutes from the last meeting on October 2nd, which I sent out yesterday via email. They're very brief, and there was no specific action taken other than just directing me to update the guidelines.
Okay, so we would need a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay, and we need a second for
Heather.
that.
Did I hear Sue
Mary,
second?
second.
Oh, Mary
All right.
seconded. Good.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. So do we need to do a roll to approve them?
Yes.
Signifying by saying, okay.
Maureen, can you do that?
Maureen, yeah.
Yes, Derek Felch,
Yeah. Yes.
Mary Doveton,
Yes.
Heather Shull,
Yes.
Heidi Champagne, if you're there.
Yes.
Okay. Sue Shea,
Yes.
I believe that's everyone.
Great.
All right, so the minutes are approved. So now I would entertain some discussion. This is Derek again. I'd entertain some discussion on the proposed guidelines for 2021. Don't everyone speak at once. It gets really confusing.
Okay, this is Mary. I thought that Porter did a lovely job of laying out kind of a groundwork for the application and revising the application. I thought it all looked really good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Mary. I thought it was very clear. I wasn't at the last meeting, so I really appreciated how well it was done, and I think it looks great.
This is Heather, and I agree. I think it really did look good, and the fact that Susan, who wasn't at the meeting, could see the changes that we had discussed and come through and make sense for her, I think that's an indicator that they're good to go.
I agree with that as well. This is Heidi.
This is Derek. Clearly, we're a very agreeable group. I guess then the question would be, are there any changes or any additions, subtractions, anything that we feel needs to be included that isn't there already?
This is Heidi. I think Porter did a great job clarifying a couple of our concerns regarding last time thinking about events that actually did take place not being considered a gap year this year, as opposed to the other events that did not take place, having this be everybody else's gap.
Okay, anyone else? Is there anything else? Porter, it appears you've impressed us. Now, is there any, do we need to add, is there any public comment, anything that anyone else had to add about these changes? Do we need to?
This is Porter Arneal. There was no public comment submitted, and Maureen, unless somebody's there, I don't believe there's any public comment on this.
Yeah, this is Maureen. There's nobody here.
That sounds like my hotel. So then we would need a motion to approve this then, correct? That would be the next step if I'm understanding.
This is Porter. That is correct.
Okay. So this is Derek. I'd entertain a motion to approve the guidelines as they have been presented by Porter with the changes and a second.
This is Heather. I move to
I'll
accept
jump in.
the, oh,
Okay,
Zoom strikes again.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, I'll second it.
All right, so we have a motion to approve in there and a second for these guidelines, so we'll take a roll to approve it then. Maureen, do you mind doing that again?
Yep, this is Maureen. Derek Felch,
Aye.
Mary Doveton,
Yes?
Heather Shull,
Yes.
Heidi Champagne,
Yes,
Sue Shea,
Yes,
and that's everybody.
All right, so we have our guidelines. Porter, is there anything else we need to do at today's meeting? And do we?
No, thank you, Derek. This is Porter. No, this is all I needed to get the ball rolling. So as I said, we'll open the grant application period next week. I think I said October 20th, and it will run for 1 month through November 20th. It's basically the same application. It will be online, so I'll also articulate this in the announcement. And then we will go through that process, and your job then will be to, just a reminder that in the guidelines is also the schedule that I've laid out for review and how the program is going to play out. So I just want to remind everybody, if you can check those dates and make sure you put those on your calendar, particularly the board meetings. Obviously, that'll be important. And then we'll also have time for the 3-minute presentations, which this year will be hopefully somewhat easier because we will do those via Zoom rather than in person. But this is all we need for today.
Okay, then do we need a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Or, okay. So unless anyone else has anything brilliant they would like to add to this meeting, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
this is Heidi. We'll make the motion.
All right. So we have a motion, and we have a second, if I heard in there. And do we have to do a roll for that, or can we just?
If everybody wants to say aye, unless somebody is really wanting to stay on, go ahead and say aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. We'll get rolling.
Thank you.
Thanks, Porter. I appreciate all your work.
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.